and when I'm speaking, I only do so to praise you, O my beloved Prophet Muhammad.
Alhe Waslim.
There is a message from Imam of his time, Imam of all time, Muhmmad bin Salla, that Muslim always, when he is silent, thinking about his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And whenever Muslim speaks, he speaks about the honor, greatness, reward, and highness of beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is a message from Muslim Ummah to the leaders of UNO, Muslim world, Western world, President of America, that those who asking question, why you are shouting on the streets, why you are protesting, many people insulting others, they are saying about them many things, but what is the reason? Only Muslim, when someone speak about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they get angry, they protest, they show their anger. The reason, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our Imam. Muhammad, without Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Iman is not completed. Prophet said, "La yu'minu ahadukum hatta akuna ahabba ilayhi min walidihi wa waladihi wan nasi ajma'in." You will never be true believer. You will never be true believer if you don't love Muhammad more than your parents, more than your children, more than your family, more than your relatives. And the same message is given in Quran. The same message is given in Quran. In chapter 9, Surah At-Tawbah. قُلْ إِنْ كَانَ آبَاؤُكُمْ وَأَبْنَاؤُكُمْ وَإِخْوَانُكُمْ وَأَزْوَاجُكُمْ وَعَشِيرَتُكُمْ وَأَمْوَالٌ اقْتَرَفْتُمُوهَا وَتِجَارَةٌ تَخْشَوْنَ كَسَادَهَا أَحَبَّ إِلَيْكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَجِهَادٍ فِي سَبِيلِهِ فَتَرَبَّصُوا حَتَّىٰ يَأْتِيَ اللَّهُ بِأَمْرِهِ. Sign of true believers. If your parents, your children, your wife, your relatives, your brothers, your businesses, your work is dearer to you than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you are not a true believers. So people don't understand why we love Muhammad. Without Muhammad, no concept of Iman. Without Muhammad, no concept of Islam. Without Muhammad, no concept of spirituality. That's why a clear message to all those who are insulting our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We strongly today condemn the act of all those who insulted our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our message to them, we will carry on this protest. We will carry on expressing our feeling, our anger. We will be on the street, out the parliament, inside the parliament. We will use all legal ways and all possible decent ways to protect the honor of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No one should think Muhammad. We love 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 Muhammad. No one should think that few days we will be protesting on the street and they will carry on their work. They will be continually condemning our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now they have challenged our Iman. They have challenged our faith. And inshallah, we will use all possible means. But at the same time, we have to convey the message. If anyone involved in any act of violence in the name of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is not the true believer and follower of Muhammad sallallahu wasallam. We don't believe in violence. We believe to protect the honor of Muhammad Salla by protesting, by fighting, by arguing. They believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of speech. The difference is our freedom of speech to give honor and respect to our leaders. Their freedom of speech to disrespect beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The difference between us and them, those who insulted Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they think freedom of speech is only to insult someone, to criticize someone, to defame someone. We believe in freedom of speech, but this freedom of speech has a boundaries. Don't think Muslims don't have any tolerance, or there is no concept of freedom of speech in Islam. No! Islam invites people to freedom of speech. The concept of freedom of speech was given 1400 years ago, when no one knows about the freedom of speech. Quran says, قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. All those who are denying the messengership of Muhammad, denying the sanctity of Quran, invited people, هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ, bring your evidence if you are truthful. Quran invited people to discuss. Quran invited people to debate. Quran invited people to express their feeling. Concept of freedom of speech and freedom of expression is given by a Quran. But the difference with their concept of freedom of speech and genuine concept of speech, there are some boundaries. And when we say there are some boundaries, and we should look at the boundaries, we should bear in our mind the boundaries of freedom of speech. They say these boundaries only mentioned in Quran. I challenge them, open the UNO Charter of Human Rights, where they indicate, where they mention the concept of freedom of speech. Categorically they mention, integrated, that there is the freedom of speech have boundaries. We don't believe on absolute freedom of speech, and absolute freedom of speech doesn't exist in this world. They are only using the name of freedom of speech to insult Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to attack Islam, to hurt the feeling of Muslim. In reality, absolute freedom of speech doesn't exist in this world. And as we are here in this significant place, our demand to you and our demand to those who are running Google and they're on YouTube, that these people on the name of freedom of speech, insulting Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our message to all of you, don't think we don't believe on freedom of speech. Don't think we don't believe on freedom of expression. As I said, Quran given the freedom of expression, freedom of speech 1400 years ago. I can quote dozens of verses about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, debate, arguing with others. But you should not allow these elements who are just using the title of freedom of speech to hurt the feeling of 1.5 billion Muslims all over the world. And they should not use you as a tool to hurt the feeling of 1.5 billion Muslims around the world. They are only using you. They are bringing in front to fight against Muslim. Be careful. Muslim world is also with you. If you believe on genuine freedom of speech, if you believe on genuine freedom of expression, but today we condemn the act of insulting Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam under the banner of freedom of speech. And our demand today in this very place, that you should not be the tool. They should not use you against 1.5 billion all over the world. Muslim is on not only are the are citizens of 57 Islamic countries. We are citizens of Ireland. Muslims are citizens of Britain. Muslims are citizens of America. We have a right, as every other single person has a right, not to insult him, not to hurt his feeling. Part and parcel of this society, we have the right not to be insulted. If anyone insulting, we don't expect from you to be part and to joining them. We expect from you to stand with us as you always standing with people who have suffered by the tyranny of others. This is our only one message to you, and this is the only purpose to come here. They have insulted, and they use your company as a tool to convey the message of insult. And this is this film. People says, under what criteria we can challenge these people? I say, there are many criterias. They say blasphemy. The island has a law of blasphemy, but many other countries don't have a law of blasphemy. So if this is come under blasphemy, many Western countries, America has an excuse. Though blasphemy is not the part of article of every country and constitution. But my question, incitement of hatred is part of every country or not? Insulting someone is not part of the constitution, or promoting terrorism is not part of the constitution. If promoting terrorism is part of constitution, this person terrorized world, and the result of his terrorism, the promotion of terrorism, you can see from Middle East to Asia, from Asia to America, people are suffering because of these elements. If this is not terrorism, what is the definition of terrorism? If this is not hatred, what is the definition of hatred? If this is not insult, what is the meaning of insult? If you think this is insult of someone, incitement of hatred, this is provoking of terrorism, so these people should be arrested and brought to justice under the act of terrorism, under the act of incitement of hatred. And this is the only message we are going to convey. And if we don't listen, we will continue our protest. This will continue. We will not be quiet. We will not be silent. We will struggle till the last drop of our blood. Are you agreed?